So after we take a few laps around Brands Hatch Indy, and we thought, okay, that might be an oval track, but no, actually we're doing an oval track this time. Welcome to AMX Global Season 4 race here. And I'm Lorenzo Bonder. I'm with my commentator over here, Connor Nixon. There you go, on my left side of the screen, or actually with the other hand, but nevertheless. So, Connor, how are you today?
Yeah, good, mate. Nice commentating with you, and good to be back on the weekend. Should be good.
Should be good, and especially with the combo that if we're talking about, we just seen these cars race not too long ago in real life, right? Because for those who are not used with these cars, they're basically the ARCA cars. They're the Gen 4s. They're the old schools. They're used to run in when it was the NASCAR Nextel series back in 2004, 2007, before the new gen, where the Gen 5 came in, or the car of the future came in. So it's a car that has a lot of power, not easier to steer around the corners. It's very light, so it can get very drifty if you're not used to it, but it always provides good racing.
Yeah, definitely, and it seems like a lot of people that are on the iRacing platform really enjoy the car, how it moves. The tyres don't really stay on it, like you said about the drifting side of it. So yeah, it's a very enjoyable car, and especially being at this track, yeah, should be good fun for the guys on track and good fun for us in the commentary box.
Oh, absolutely. But before we go into anything in track, we have a few housekeeping rules that we probably want to talk about first. So here we go. So there you go, the global overview for Season 4 AMX1. So we start from January 27th all the way down to April 20th first. $2,000 in terms of prize pool plus the next level gear, and in 2,000 and 20,000. So we got most races in the year in a variety of track and combos like you're seeing today. So the race format is a little bit different than you probably would see like in ACC that we normally run at AMX1. So we got a qualifier 20 minutes. Those who get the best results will basically reverse themselves into the top 15. Then we got a 20-minute race. Will be around 25 laps. Then it reverses again for a second heat with 20 minutes or 25 laps in general. So driver cams, everybody is required to show up their pretty faces so we can showcase on our broadcast over here at AMX Global. The payout is usually balanced by over $100 paid out in increments each and every month. And our race days are every Tuesday, every Saturday, and every Sunday, starting from 5:50 p.m. and all the way up to 7:20 p.m. when it's AMX 10. That you can see over here on our schedule. So always starts at 5:50, and then AMX 10 follows up at 7:20 p.m. GMT. So here's the race format for the prize pool in the AMX1. So those who get pole position in qualifying and win the heat races will eventually get $7, and then goes to 5, 4, 3, 215, then in small increments all the way down to the 15th place, where you receive 20 cents, and the fastest lap in the races will eventually get a $1 every time that you do the hit races. Don't forget, pole position will eventually be top 15th place whenever races actually happens from qualifying to heat 1, and then like I said before, it reverses from heat 1 to heat 2, the top 15. And there you go. This is the top 12. Those who've been, on our leaderboard throughout this entire season, AMX1. Mauricio Lozano is our current leader in, total points, and followed by the Uruguayan of Diego Villarreal de Leon. Connor Healy in third place, Facundo Rago fourth, Lloyd Renier in fifth, Gerardo Ramos in sixth, Fabian Douget seventh, Fabrizio Belziti in eighth, Matheus Machado ninth, Daniel Antunes, Lautaro Galloso, and Imran Zuhaili is our 12 over here in the AMX1. And there you'll see Basically, what is the price that you can see for the GT Lite, the GT Lite Pro, with the next level racing? And the current P1 feature over here is Connor Healy with 62.9 points, followed closely by Facundo Rago, not too far behind. Basically, 2.2 is the stretch that Rago has on Connor Healy from Altus Esports, and for Bill ZT. Then he has a massive gain to everybody else, but still very close within that top 5 for everybody to take a look at. So we got a few current promotions. So if you want to join us over here at AMX Global, so you got a day 3 or D3 promotion. Purchase entry fees for 3 days before the race, and you get 30% off of them. Pertains all to AMX Season 4 races, of course. And if not, if you want to go for something extra, you got the season DC tickets, where if you go on amxrace.com, you have season entry tickets available for all. These tickets are all for each class in a total of 6, and will provide you 50% off for all those races that have been purchased. So I think I'll pass it up to you, Connor, if you want to talk to us about the World Center of Racing called Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, of course, mate. I'll take it away. So we're here again. We were here for the GDPs at Daytona last time with Max Verstappen. He came out. So, like I said, Daytona Beach in the US of A, built in 1959, and it's about 4Ks long. So it's up there with being a big oval. It's very close to Talladega. Obviously, Daytona was built before Talladega, and yeah, it's one of the oldest and probably the most iconic tracks in the world at the moment.
Absolutely. A 2.5 mile super speedway. I think it is one of the. It just loses to the Talladega being a 2 2/3 mile. But other than that, Connor, what are we going to be racing with?
So we're going to be racing in a Gen 4 ARCA car. So this car is a bit of an insane car. There was a bit of an update iRacing came out with, and it didn't have the restrictor plates on, and they were like, oh, we're going to fix the car. And everyone was like, no, like keep how it was, because how much power it had. So it's got 725 horsepower, rear wheel drive, and 1,500 kilos. And yeah, iRacing kept the Gen 4 car in, and everyone loves it. So I've driven it myself a little bit, and it is a really scary car, but it's such a fun car to drive. So yeah, like I said in the start of the show, it should be a fun car to drive for all these drivers.
Absolutely. Just wondering, in terms of competition history, this car came in 1992 and ended in November 2007 when they ran the 400 before the car of tomorrow came in, which would be the Gen 5. Set up the whole Gen 5 before the current gen, the next gen, the Gen 6 is actually on the track. But basically, a car that I love to drive 100%. I'm just like you. I love this car.
Yeah, it's great fun. Yeah, I've raced with mates in official, and there's been 5 of us just in a big train driving around, and yeah, it's great fun. It's and you can have a good laugh with your buddies and tell them that, you know, you're scrubbing those right side tires, and, you know, have a good laugh. So yeah, like I said, it should be good fun.
Absolutely. That being said, let's go to the track, everybody. I think we talked way too much regarding this car. I think we have to take it to the track and see how we'll run with these cars. Qualifying, there you go. It's underway for everybody for us to take a look. Just coming outside of turn number 4, coming into the tri-oval, is one of the drivers. Very lonely, you could say, Connor. Qualifying over here, everybody has their own chance to do laps around here. As we see the Brazilian Vinicius Jean for Nord Racing, doing a 48.070 with the M&Ms that I think back in the old days was actually driven by Elliott Sadler when he was back in the Joe Gibbs Racing. Now he doesn't drive nowadays, but still. You can see 10 cars on the track with Gayoso, Williandini, Connor Healy, which is being spotted by our own Kevin Garcia. By the way, a shout out to him. Rodrigo Lizoski, Vinicius Diso, a very, very packed Brazilian field over here. As you see, Vinicius Dean, one half of the Dean brothers that are on the track, taking laps around Daytona.
Yeah, he's put a good time in and sitting at P5 at the moment. And I was going to say, I think on the front of the bumper, they've tried to make it into a bit of a new style Mustang from the shape of it. I don't know if that's just me having a look on the front, but it looks really cool with this M&M livery. But yeah, he's put a good time in, and Rago on screen now, and you could take it away because I feel like you would know more about this car.
No, absolutely. It's the legendary DuPont 24, driven by Jeff Gordon when he decided to become a 4-time NASCAR champion, one of the greatest drivers in NASCAR history. And this livery, I think it's legendary on its own right to see this. And it's a good livery, I would say. There has been so many liveries, in my opinion, Connor, that have been driven for Gen 4. And don't get me wrong, I like the new gen. I like this next gen. The car of tomorrow wasn't a fan on me in terms of liveries because the shape of the car was just very weird to talk about. But the Gen 4s, man, these old cars, they still drive around in ARCA and I think some old series as well. But it just fits perfectly for any livery whatsoever.
Yeah, like I remember when I first kind of got into NASCAR back in the day, in the early 2000s. When I think of NASCAR, I think of this car, like the long body, quite wide. It's not like the new the new gen that we've got, where it's the same on each side. One side is really slop, then the other's straight up and down. So it's quite interesting that, when you talk about, when you think of NASCAR, why I would think of this is because it's just memories being a child, being a young boy sitting on, at the TV and watching NASCAR go around. Good times.
It's good times. And one other thing is the fact that nowadays they get to run in the current iteration of Daytona. Daytona has suffered many, track repavements through the years, but they drove in a version of Daytona. If you've driven NASCAR, which is the precursor of iRacing, if you want to call it that, which is NASCAR Racing 2003, you would run in a heavily bumped Daytona. Like, it was very, very hard to drive. It was hard to keep it stable. The bumps, especially you're going around turn number 3, they were very intense, and just having that car balance, deal with the bumps, deal with the undulation, really made this car more like, in my opinion, a driver's car than the current gen cars that you have today in current NASCAR.
Yeah, I totally agree with that opinion. We've got these new next gen cars, which I find them that they're still a driver's car to this standard today. Like when you look at a GT3 or a Porsche Cup or a GTP, it's still a huge driver's car. But I totally agree with you on that point. Back in the day with the 2009 spec of the iRacing Daytona spec track, it's such a bumpy track. I remember on driving it for the first time, I jumped one lane. Just the car just jumped. It didn't care. It didn't want to be in that lane. It just jumped, and I was like, "What is going on?" But yeah, I kind of wish we were on the old version, but at the same time, I do like this new version. And with the next gen car, I think it's NASCAR moving on from their 4-speed dog box to a sequential gearbox. The rear axles a lot different compared to the old versions, so it's good to see that they're moving on, and we've seen some new drivers get into NASCAR recently. Jensen Button, Shane Van Gisbergen. I was talking about this with my other commentator. I said it's good to see there's people coming across to NASCAR now, and it's opening up NASCAR's community, almost, you could say. Good to see.
Yeah. Absolutely. And we're still seeing, there's still some time, which is kind of interesting. It's a little bit of different things. I think this is the first time in this season, in the season 4, that we've seen the Gen 4 is being run. I'm just taking a quick look on the calendar to see if they're going to be featured again. Doesn't look like it because we've seen we're going to see the classics run. We've seen the classics run a few weeks. I think it was last weekend when they ran at Talladega. Another great combination, in my honest opinion. I don't know if you. I think
awesome
you would agree with that. Man, I love the 1987. It's just perfect. But basically, we mainly featured scary cars in understatement, if you want to call it that. But basically, Saturdays, this AMX one, it kind of like been the day of seeing NASCARs, whether it's going to be the Xfinity or the next gen. We're going to be seeing the Xfinity real soon, which is going to be on March 16th. Next week is actually going to be on ACC, which is kind of interesting. Just taking a quick look over here. Yeah, it's going to be actually. No, sorry. We'll have a break week because it is week 13 in iRacing. Rain incoming, by the way. Hashtag. Thank God. I don't know. By the way, what are you thinking about rain?
I got asked this when I was streaming the other day on Twitch about this. I do esports in Australia, and I guess it's when people go, oh, you know, rain's coming in, it's great. You know, in my mind, from an esports perspective, you go, it's not going to be great unless it's going to be league racing or, you know, esports events like AMX or, you know, your big events. But I think for officials and I think that's going to be scary. But I think in the big 12 hours, 24 hours, I think it'll be really good to see, you know, you'll get in the car and it will be dry as a bone. 20 minutes later, it might start raining, and you're stuck in the car for 3 hours, and your teammate might jump in 3 hours, and the track will be completely, you know, bone dry again, and you'll be like, oh, well, that was just wonderful, wasn't it? So I think it's going to be it's going to be interesting. I think officials won't be fun with the rain, but I think with league racing and esports events and, like I said, with the big endurances, I think it'll be really good. So that's my take on it. But yeah, I think the whole community is really glad that iRacing has put the rain into second gear and went, okay, we need to get this finished. So yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah. It's going to be quite interesting. I kind of agree with you, as we're seeing sometimes Connor Healy just flying up the board with a 48-year flat. So a good lap from the Altus Esports NASCAR driver. So it's going to be actually Connor, if I remember correctly, he's from Altus, but he's more featured into rally cars, if I remember correctly, than anything else. But I could be deeply wrong. I know the Altus roster a little bit.
From my understanding, because he's an Aussie, I feel like I've got a little bit of information. Kenny Conamos in my team used to drive against him on Gran Turismo, so that's the rumours.
Oh,
yeah, so he used to be a Gran Turismo. Well, not rumours. Apparently, he was really good. I haven't seen him besides iRacing, but he is Connor Healy with the session winner, BenQ session winner. Sorry, my apologies. But yeah, he very, very professional, a very good driver and very professional how he drives. But yeah,
absolutely. As you see the qualifying results over here for the BenQ session winner, like you said, is Connor Healy, followed by William Gini from North. He's from Lautaro Gayoso. In third place, Rodrigo Lezowski is in fourth. Pedro Dean in fifth. Mateus Machado in sixth place. Vinicius Dean, his Pedro's brother, in seventh. Facundo Rago in eighth. Léo Moura and Victor Amoroso in 10th place. So this is our 10-car list. Now Connor just decided to go and jump back on the seat. As you can see, his Fan Attack DD Pro right there on his car. So we're going to get to racing real soon. And now I'm interested because the good thing about these small races, you know, of course, this is not a big grid like you would probably see in the ARCA series, in the official series, Connor. But what I like about this is because it is tiny, I think you can get not just racy, but I want to see how the especially the Brazilians, will try to organize themselves on the field, given that it's so small and it's going to be hard to break away with these cars.
Yeah, I've talked to a commentator about this before, because obviously we've got our AMX 10 and then AMX 1. It's, you know, I've talked about that. Yes, we have a smaller field, but it's surprisingly actually almost better racing because everyone's so much more bunched together. And like you were saying about the Brazilians, they all work together. So you've got like your Connor Healy that's trying to make his way up through the field most of the time, and it's great to watch. Like it's one of those races that you just need to watch to understand what really goes on behind the scenes if you don't do AMX 1, and you know, they have a different car each week for the ovals, so it's I think they enjoy it, that it's different NASCAR pretty much every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And those who don't want never seen this before and want to race, join us at AMX Global, AMX Race, and get one of the promotions, one of the coupons for you to join. What is going to be in AMX 10 and AMX 1. It doesn't matter. The race is always great, nevertheless, and always provides some good entertainment for everybody. And it's basically, you know, you have everything for everyone. This is what I like to see. As cars go around on turn number 3, and then we're going to merge into the tri-oval for 1 in 5 laps here in Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing. Track conditions looking really crisp and clean. Looks like it is a very, dry, hot day for these cars. So the tires are going to build their temperatures right quickly on the track. So it's all on Amoroso right now, and see how fast he will get off the gas once they get to the restart zone for our race start. Green, green, green. So there we go. Race starts. And already you can see Amoroso just jumping off the line, and followed by Facundo Rago in that 24 car trying to follow suit as the number 9 goes into the upper lane.
Yeah, I just want to mention Connor Healy is completely out of slipstream at this point, so he's just dropped off completely off the face of the earth. Meanwhile, the 2 Jeff Gordon liveries are spicing it up. We see on the top lane and the bottom lane, the Turn Racing livery, which is the Canadian, up the top, and I can't see his name because I don't have my timing up as usual, so I'll bring that up. But side by side into turn 3, car 24 down below, trying to have a look. He's still there. He might get the run off the other Jeff Gordon. I'm just going to call Jeff Gordon 1 and 2 because it's just hilarious. But Jeff Gordon number 2 up the top lane doing well there, getting a huge run. And the M&M car's going to go through as well. And I'm going to bring up my timing while you talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. As they go 3 wide, both Amoroso and Virago trying to follow suit on the lower and the upper line. I think number 9 of Amoroso has a little bit of grind on the wall. He's going to lose a lot of places, basically thrown all the way to the back, while Hago is actually pushed by Leo Moda, and Leo Moda now taking the total control of that bottom line. Meanwhile, the Dean brothers coming into the top line to merge with the number 9. With the number 24 of the Argentina of Dorago.
Yeah, I was going to say Leo's just taken the lead, the Canadian, so he's well adapted for this type of racing. You see a few Canadians in NASCAR every now and then, so leading the race now, and he's got a pretty good drafting partner behind him with Macchiato, just sitting right behind him and giving him that sweet toe that we see, and Dean's actually dropping back, and huge contact.
Yeah, that's Dean going off, apparently taken off by, I don't know if that was Dini that actually took him off on the top line, but basically shoves the Brazilian into the middle portion of the track, and he's going to lose the position also to Victor Amoroso, therefore all just not going the way that one of the Dean brothers wants, and the top 4 starting to have a little bit of a small pack and break away from the other half of the Dean brothers, Vinicius Dean.
Yeah, that changed very quickly. I think there's there's more of a story there with Amoroso there, dropping back a bit further. So he dropped back first. So I wonder if there was a little bit of contact then that big crash. So we'll probably get a replay in a bit there. But meanwhile, sitting on board with the Rago here, and he's on the bottom, and you can see it here. He's getting some nice slipstream off of the car in front with Leskowski having a nice little tow there. So at this point, he really no, it's Macchiato. My apologies. Lekowski actually on top. So in car 6, we see on the shot there. So at this point, I don't think with Legowski here, I don't think he can really do much. He's got not much of a drafting partner. And here's the incident with Dean there in the bottom right. Oh, huge contact there. Oh, massive. Connor Healy getting around too in the bottom.
Yeah, somehow, some way, Connor actually survived the whole ordeal. And despite being 3 seconds back, he has William Dini to work with, so they can actually form a 2-pack. And 2-packs can be very strong. Of course, not going to share the draft of 4 cars. As you can see now, Lazowski still retaining that top lane. The Argentina Facundo Rago now being that 3rd car in the bottom bunch. And so follow lap number 6 has just opened by. And you can see now Vinny Dean coming into the top lane, helping the Brazilian of Rodrigo Lazowski. The thing is, can these two work together, maintain that side draft, which is kind of, in this Gen 4, I think a lot of people understate how powerful the side draft on these cars just because they're more simple towards the aerodynamics. But there they go. The number 4 just managing to stay within the toe of the number 6, and so far keeping that top lane pretty much clean.
Yeah, I was going to say, at this point, it looks like car number 4, which is Dean. He's not really giving that push that Lewowski needs to get up to that front. So at this point, if I was car 6, I'd be like, I need a push, mate, to get up there, because if they don't work together, they're just going to be on that top lane and just, slowly dropping back. And you can see right here, that they're not really doing much at the moment. So the guys on the bottom, which is Macchiato, Leo, and Rago, just sitting there nice and comfortably. And here we go. Here's the push. We can see here some nice slipstream here, and cars 6 and 4 on the top. I reckon they might get a nice little run here.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I like about these plate racings is how dynamic and friendly it can be. I think the number 24 just having a little bit of a moment right there. As you can see, I think that's the view of Leo Mora, the guy in the front of this whole pack. I think they're just about to catch up with Pedro Dean. So Pedro is going to be become a probable factor within that top lane where his brother is, if he can actually have the speed and momentum to catch up to his brother. I think Pedro was the one that got involved, of course, like you said before, in that incident. But I think other than that, probably Gayoso is also involved in the incident as well. But good to see also my teammate Matteo. If you don't, a little bit of a trivia, Matteo is actually one of my teammates. If you don't know about that, in one of my sim racing teams, so it's kind of good to see Matteo's dabbling around these cars and showcasing all the training that we put up. Matteo's actually, he's a better driver than me in general, but good to know that he's actually maintaining that cleanness around the track because they lack Gayoso.
I'm surprised you're calling him a better driver. That's shocking. I don't hear a lot of race car drivers saying that there's other drivers that are better than them. So good to see that there's good positive good positive vibes going
humble.
On.
It's like, go ahead. I was gonna say, it's because I was gonna say I've raced Matteo's for nearly 10 years now, which is insane.
Oh wow!
Actually, more. No. Actually, 10 years. So it's insane to think about. Like Matteo's did he nearly qualified for the world fastest gamer like in 2017. The Brazilian Porsche Cup. He's actually a real life engineer for Brazilian Porsche Cup in Stock Car Series for Stock Pro. I think he was Tony Kanon's engineer at one point. So it's interesting to see him going around the track and having a little bit of a moment. Trying to follow down the bottom lane. No, Lazowski and Pedro and Vinicius Dean have the better line so far, going around the corner of turn number 3 and 4, and now going to merge themselves.
Oh, they just been turned.
Oh, that was huge contact. He's going to save it, though. Somehow, he has gained a little bit of grip on that bottom apron, and he's going to get some grip and fire back on the track, but I don't think he's going to get that slipstream, unfortunately. So he's going to be out of that drafting zone that we talk about a lot on AMX1. I feel like all the viewers that watch are probably sick of me just talking about draft and slipstream about 90% of this time of the races. Oh, a bit of movement up into the track, though. We could see everyone's starting to move around. We're on lap 11, so 14 laps to go. So I think everyone's starting to realise what lap they're on. So there's a little bit of movement going on now. Car 6 on the bottom and 24 on the top now. Jeff Gordon livery doing well there, making him proud.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Argentinians started to move up at the bottom of the top lane. You can see now even Léo Moura trying to push with the Lazowski into the tri-oval and nearly didn't work, pushing the number 6, but still, so far, still retaining that, draft range, still retaining that momentum that he has in the car. One thing, and there's another push. There's a massive one. And around goes the number 6. Now goes also the number 30. And both cars are damaged, and their race are done.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much out of it at this point. I don't think there's going to be much. Here's the run, though. Macchiato just getting a huge run, so he's actually going to take P2 from this. And they're actually going to be catching P1, which is Dean, one of the brothers. So let's see if they can catch up to Dean. And I think they will. Look at the run that Macchiato's got at the moment, and you can see here Rago's not happy. He's just shaking his head going, yeah, he's not happy. He's got a bit of damage, and yeah, he's not enjoying it.
No, not one bit, because the problem with his car is right now is his car is not going to have top speed. This cars are more sensitive than the current gen cars. They were more, metal and steel than anything else, and there wasn't a lot of protection back then. We're going to see the replay coming up maybe for the whole incident that transpired around turn number 1 and 2. Here goes the Magny-Cours replay of Léo Moura pushing the number 6 of Lazowski around. Going to the top lane, he's going to hit Facundo on the side. Turns the number 24 around into the wall. The 30 doesn't have any momentum whatsoever. The 16 is also affected by it. And somehow, some way, the number 4 just continues on the track and unscathed, and also the number 10, despite some damage, still also unscathed here, Connor.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. You could see the black and white car just missing everyone by a hair there. And look at this. They're going too wide to the lead here with Dean and Macchiato, just battling it out at the moment. And it looks like the Argentinian's going to be out of this slipstreaming zone, so it's going to be a little bit of a battle for the front now, and we'll see what happens in the background. Connor Healy's actually got a little bit of a battle on his hands too in the back there. So we'll keep an eye on everything, but at the moment, this is what we're watching, and thank you for Ben Q for that full replay there. Good to see the insides of every little bit of contact that we see in AMX.
Yeah,
Let's
absolutely.
have a look at this.
And there was a massive...
There you go.
I was gonna say one thing. There's 2 things for me that are like wrong, and the first one, I'm gonna talk about the livery. Making a Corolla. I know they don't drive Corollas in NARCA. Don't get me wrong. I think they drive. They have the Camry. If not, if it is a Corolla, I'm completely wrong. Then I was trying to look which brand they use.
It's a Chev. Yeah.
I know they use Chev. I know in general they use Chev. But anyway, coming back to my point, there was a question on our YouTube chat, just asking why did they crash? Is it because they're too aggressive? No, there is one thing that is infamous with these cars. That is more for plate racing in general, with the ARCA or Gen 4 cars. They're very sensitive to bumps. They're more sensitive than the current gen, or even at the car of tomorrow. As you can see, Connor Healy pushing William Dini. There's the battle for 4th, and then eventually for 4th to 6th place. And these guys are trying to work themselves together to reach Facundo Rago. They have about 10 laps. The pace they're doing, they can actually do that just fine. The thing is, you cannot push the car on the turns. pushing the cars on the turns is the same thing as asking for you to get murdered. That's why you don't push these Gen 4s around the corner, because if you do, the result is obvious. We haven't seen just once, we've seen twice already in this race happening, with people dying around the track.
Yeah, I've learnt my lesson with driving these cars. When you actually try and push someone, it actually lifts the whole back end up, and you lose all grip in about milliseconds. It feels like when you're driving, when you're the guy getting pushed, the car basically snaps and the car pretty much lets go almost. So that's pretty much what it is most of the time when you get pushed in this car. And I just jumped on iRacing. It's actually the Impala, Chevy Impala. So
yep.
This is the car that's that we're using in iRacing. Just watching Connor Healy at the moment. You can see there laughing away. And then we got the concentration face on the left side. You see there.
And I was just taking a quick look. Yeah, but they don't. All right, here's the thing. They don't run the Corolla unless they change it from 2022 onwards. So this might be a fantasy livery just trying to feature the Corolla, because they used to run like a Camry-based livery for these Gen 4 cars at ARCA, and eventually something like that. But it's not enough for this to be, a proper NASCAR livery. Don't get me wrong; it's still Eminem's livery. Still legendary when you see guys like Elliott Sadler, Kyle Busch, when Kyle won his championship, or Joe Gibbs when he was actually one of the most hated racers, drivers in NASCAR history. So it's interesting to see. Now Matheus Machado's job over here, Connor, is one and unique. He has to be within the back end of the Dean all the way down to the final lap, and maybe grab the run out of number 4 and go for the win, because right now it's just cook, and cook.
Yeah, that's it. It's pretty much just sitting there and waiting really until that last lap to really spring your I guess your plan when you're driving these cars. But at the same time, you on that last lap, you've got to set up the run, back yourself up a little bit, and pretty much get that slipstream off the last corner, and just drag race it to the end. So, but at the moment, these guys are battling non-stop. These guys are not letting go at all. So there's pretty much no way that Connor Healy and the rest of the guys are going to catch up to the top guys. So they're just battling away, and it looks pretty good at the moment. No contact.
Actually, you talk about Healy, but if you look right now, as soon as Facundo passes on the race, passes on the race line, and eventually Dean, you're going to see a 48 today on everybody else in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Just let me just do 1 second faster per lap than everybody else, and just do that on my normal mode, not even engaging the afterburners around the cars. So we can definitely see a battle for top 3 happen, for that final spot on the podium. The question is, I don't think Rago in the current moment, with 3 laps to go, has the car enough for him to fight for 3rd place.
Yeah, we've seen some weirder stuff in NASCAR, so I'm not going to say that he's out of the whole situation, but yeah, it's definitely only for a couple of laps. He's got to make a move, but at the moment we're just watching these guys, and you can just see here they are so locked in with these cars, and just the concentration face is there. I don't even think these guys have blinked yet. You can see the opponent cam we're riding on board here with Machado. You can just see they're really locked in, and here's the battle for P4 as well. Look at that. Wow, there's a lot of cars in there. So these are all the cars that we saw in the big huge contact there with the full replay. Oh, 3 wide on the top there out of 4. And yeah, we're going to go to this. So we're going to watch this and see what really unfolds here. We saw huge contact early on And Connor Healy actually just sitting at the back there. He knew what happened last time, so I think he's just going to sit there and just see what happens and get the vibe of all these guys and see what they move around, what they do and how they move around.
Absolutely. The other interesting thing is, like, you have Argentina in the bottom and Brazil up in the top, and one car behind. I think that is Lazowski being pushed slightly by the number 9 of Vinicius Amoroso as they open up lap 24. So 1.5 laps to go over here in Daytona Speedway for our first heat of 2 heats here at AMX Global for AMX 1. So still side by side is Gayoso and Lazowski, but that is not a battle for position. That is more like a battle for, just staying within the draft, because the actual battle right now is Lazowski's being able to keep that number 24 at bay, and Hago right now with the opportunity to go for 3rd place. But the thing is, does he still have momentum to retain that 3rd place whenever we get to the checker flag?
Yeah, that's the huge question, isn't it? Really, it's it's all about momentum in NASCAR. It's not very like you can see there a huge blink. For all the road races that haven't really jumped across the ovals yet, it's all about momentum, really, with slipstream and getting pushed in. Like we've said, these cars can't get pushed, but the new cars can. But we're riding on board with P1 for the last lap battle, and look at this huge run on the outside. And he's going to get it. Does he come across to try and cover? No, he can't do it. Car 4's got it. So Dean's just going to run the inside. Marciano, though, he's still there. He's going to get the run on the back straight. So let's see it all go down for the last lap. On the back of him, he's side by side to the line. Does he get it? Marciano on the outside. No.
Doesn't get it at all. Meanwhile, at the back, Lazowski is going to be able to retain 3rd place. William Dini is going to finish 4th. That mega pack is led by Gayoso. Everybody else finishing Dini in 4th place. Connor Healy in 5th. Facundo Rago finished 6th. Lamota 7th. Lazowski in 8th place. As you're going to see the grid being, overturned already for the reverse top 15. Actually, he's going to be a top 10 over here. But we got our results coming up here in a little bit. So with our BenQ session winner is going to be Vinicius Dean from North Racing. Here, Connor. So Mateus Machado, 2nd place is Lazowski in 3rd. 4th place William Dini. Connor Healy in 5th. Facundo Rago, Léo Moura, Victor Amoroso, Pedro Dean, Lautaro Gayoso are our top 10, or of our all 10 drivers with the fastest lap, going to Vinny Dean of North Racing. And race 1, kind of frenetic over here. Connor, what can we expect from race 2? Do we expect these drivers to learn their lessons of bumping around the corners and maybe keep it clean for potential heat number 2?
Yeah, I think a lot of them have learned a couple of lessons from that. Number 1, don't push cars. Number 2 is, you can't really, the moment you lose that slipstream, it's just pretty much game over instantly. So I think these guys might try and stay in that big pack until the last couple of laps, and we might see a really big battle on our hands. But Gayoso here up the front, we saw him being very competitive in the last couple of races, so I reckon he might do it again. I've got a feeling. So he's on P1 and Dean in P2. Then Amoroso in P3, and the rest is there on the grid. So, yeah, I think there's a couple of lessons that they've all learned, but we'll see what happens though. I'm not gonna say anything that's confirmed, but I'd say that's a couple of lessons they've probably learned. And as well, we've got a bit of information for the ladies and gentlemen at home. So the 2 white cars on track, I think you just cut out there actually. Or was that a me issue?
Are they though? Let me see. Two 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows. No, we got 5 rows. So I think we got everyone over here lined up. As now here goes Barney, Benny the pace car. Barney's over there handling our flag as Lautaro Gayoso ready. Green flag. We're underway for more 25 laps of International Speedway here at Daytona. And Gayoso already leading us off. And Pedro Dean already looking for that bottom lane for start the mega draft off these cars.
Yeah, we can see the bottom, and let's just listen to these things. What a sound that is. And yeah, it looks like they're all trying to slot down the bottom and try and get that run on the pretty much stay in the slipstream. And nope, they're going too wide again. So correction, and we can see here a bit of movement, trying to move down the low. Oh, he's just snuck through there. And Leo up in front again with the Canadian and the two, Rago and Gaia. So actually just in P2 and P3. So that's the battle. And Connor Healy being on top as well. We've seen his pace being very good in this whole season. So that's kind of the battle at the moment. Moving around, we can see the white cars was mentioning there. There's actually a bit of a glitch with iRacing at the moment with paints. So if you're watching this back, guys, apologies for the pains. And a little bit of movement going on though, for sure.
So we're back. So you can see the 2 lanes being formed with the. What I like about this is like there's a little bit of a more cleaner lane. I think everybody's just learning their lessons, not being pushy around these cars. Of course, they don't get a lot of time to practice with these cars around the track. And pack racing over here is a little bit more difficult, like I said before. It's a whole different beast, Connor, than driving these cars around normal racing. And you can see now Connor Healy having a really solid second race so far with Kevin Garcia. He's going to be taking over from me on AMX 10. And he's going to be commentating with Connor Nixon, who's over here with me on the booth as my co-commentator. So it's going to be quite interesting to see the other race, which is the Cup cars, driving around the Circuit de Neve Magny-Cours, which is the French circuit. I would say the premier French circuit. Don't get me wrong, Paul Ricard, great circuit, but I prefer Magny-Cours. I'm just being picky right now. Anyway, lap number 4, and everybody just staying one abreast on side by side, and that's really good to know that still clean race so far. They know what's at stake in about 20 something laps.
You were saying about Magny-Cours there. We'll go off topic from the race for a sec. I actually kind of wish that the F1 was still going to Magny-Cours. I think it's such an excellent track. Great racing. Did an esports event there recently, and yeah, the racing is just like it's awesome. Like it's, you know, it's just next level. You know, you've got that big hairpin at the back of the straight. But anyway, we'll go back to racing. Rago actually leading the race at the moment with Connor Healy pushing him along. Well, you don't have to push, but or you can't push, but trying to stay on the back as closely as you can. Just trying to get the train moving on the top there with the car 30 going through, obviously being on the corner at the moment. So he's going to get the run. And that's Leo, the Canadian, getting a nice run here. Well, he actually, his guy behind him actually is giving him some really good slipstream here. So, yeah, that bottom lane's looking really quick. Oh! That was weird to see. Connor Healy just flicking around 360 and he hits the wall. Oh, that was unfortunate.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I think that was light push from Rodrigo Rizalski on his back, on the back end right there, and unfortunately spun both Healy and Gayoso around. So the number 16 and number 98 already out of this race, so out of contention pretty much lap 6. Wondering how the number 6 actually caught up the number 98 off guard, and because you normally would expect, you know, to see that backstretch pushing, you know, being a little bit more cleaner. You can push those cars around and generate, of course, like you said, a lot of slipstream, but it's less dangerous. But wondering what kind of angle the number 6 actually pushed the number 98 around.
And we're actually going to get a full replay here with the BenQ replay here. Oh, 24 moving around a little bit now. Here's the replay. Let's have a look what happened here. So car 6, does he give him a push? That's the main question. I think he might have. Oh, he has just that little tap there, and you can see there with the guy in actually pushing along Leo there, just getting a big smack from Connor Healy. And Connor Healy getting turned around in that beautiful Altus livery. And oh, he's going to slide up and hit this banking here. We'll give him all the damage in the world. Oh. Cars are pretty much a paper bag, so he'll have heaps of damage there. And going back to the live here. Leo leading the pack though. That bottom lane looking very quick at the moment. We did see that top lane getting a little bit more pacey through the race. So it'll be interesting to see that top lane getting more grip there. Move in the background there.
Yeah, I think that was Valmoroso having a little bit of a wiggle coming out of the tri-oval. Into turn number 1, the car just gets wobbly and goes nearly sideways. Give it a heart-stopping moment to everybody else, but you can see nobody pushing one another, just generating the draft. Like I said, you can't push these cars around, but it has to be kind of like those mild pushes, or pretty much if you're gonna slam someone, just make sure you slam it cleanly. Going around the corner, you can now see Laumora, and I think that's William Dean a perspective on the other angle, Pedro Dean on the other angle, as they still push one other around the track. And still 9 laps in, we still have about 16 more to go over here at Daytona. Laps stacked around 45.8, 45 high, which is normal to see around these cars, which, believe it or not, they nearly do the same amount of laps as the current gen, despite an old gen being on paper being a faster car than the new gen is.
Yeah, it must be with all the trick error they've got in these new next gens. But I was going to say about the racing here is Pedro Dean looking very strong here with how he's pushing Leo at the moment. Like, he's right on that back bumper there, you know, not pushing him, but he's mills off that back bumper, and it's you can see there he's just getting a massive toe there. Well, not toe, but more getting a push. That's probably the best word I can probably use for this, is getting pushed. And you can see here, I think if I was Rago, I would actually be thinking in my head, okay, how can I get in front of Dean to get pushed at this current moment, but still try and be in the lead somehow. So that'd be my kind of thought or process at the moment. But you can see here Rago getting loose up to the top there, so the top actually being a bit loose at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to mention, I think Rago, every time he actually opens up turn number 3 and eventually turn number 1, he goes on a very wide angle in his car. And because of this, it makes the momentum of the cars coming behind a little bit more dangerous. You know, they have to maybe check up a little bit. The number 24, when they come around the corner to avoid. And it gets and it somehow lives throughout the whole ordeal.
Lenzo, your microphone, mate, is just dying every now and then. But we can see here we were just talking about that Rago wanted Rago to have Dean in front of him or behind him, and it looks like it's come true. And Leo is going to just get to be absolute left for dry here, and I reckon that top lane's just going to have a massive push and kind of get away from these guys from the bottom here. Does Dean drop low? That's the big question. No, he doesn't. Wow, that's shocking. Looks like that bottom lane is the fastest way at the moment, but he didn't drop down, so Dean leading the race right now, getting those big runs. But Leo's probably going to have his guy behind him just pushing him along, so Leo might be in the lead here in about a second. Dean at the moment with that top lane. I did say about the grip though, so the grip might be coming into being a factor now.
Yeah, I think the cars are all gripped up and now catching the grip. I would say the lateral grip coming into the backstretch and then coming into the tri-oval might be enough. They have to be enough for you to retain that lead moving forward, as the top lane working themselves. 4 cars, one close to the other, is now Dean and Hago are the 2 cars that are following this train, and so far Dean maintaining that top lane, doesn't want to come down.
Yeah, it seems like he might be just being in a rhythm with Rago pushing him along. Rago being really good at pushing. We can see here he's actually pretty much the same as Dean with the pushing abilities at the moment. So I'd say Dean and Rago are pretty happy to just stay up there at the moment. I don't think they'd be too fussed dropping down at the moment. Like we mentioned, Dean not dropping down, but you can see here with the bottom lane's moving around a lot at the moment. So could be a bit of a loss of grip at the moment, or just being out of rhythm a little bit with that little bit of movement, having Dean going up. So you can see here probably settling in now with car number 9, which is Amaros, just sitting there and actually pushing along now, and it looks like that bottom lane. Oh, he's touched the apron. Holding on there. Hold on, buddy. Car 9 just getting nice and squirrely there.
I was going to say, if you do that on the next gen cars, it's more likely that you're gonna survive the whole ordeal. But I learned the hard lesson with these Arca or the Gen 4 cars. You do not go around that bottom lane. You can see now a little bit of a push coming from the 24 on Pedro Dean on that outside lane, coming to turn number 3. So that number 2 retaining the lead coming to turn number 3, but of course Mora being on the bottom lane and getting the better lateral run and being on the bottom lane is going to be a little bit better, but no help whatsoever from the guys in the bottom lane. Top lane, you have Pedro Dean, Facundo Rago, and Rodrigo Luzowski. Bottom lane, you have Vinicius Amoroso. You have Leo Mora, Vinicius Amoroso, and Mateus Machado in that bottom lane working themselves together. Also in that bottom lane, a little bit far behind, just to potentially avoid some check-ups, is going to be Vinicius Dean and William Dini. Vinny Dean, the number 4 winner of the first heat race over here at AMX 1.
We seen Dean there winning the race there. But yeah, like you said, the bottom lane just doesn't look like they're not really doing much. But when you think about it, if you see there, Rago, I think that was Rago. Yeah, indeed, that was Rago, just moving down there a little bit, just trying to push that bottom lane there, just going, okay, we're still here. I'm going to test you a little bit and see how far we can actually push you. But yeah, we can see here with that top lane, there's 3 guys up there, but they're all helping each other there. So it's if those 3 drivers just keep doing what they're doing, it's pretty much signed and sealed and delivered at this point in time. With Leo Mora really just being there on his own. But we can see here there's a little bit of a push with that car number 9 there. Amaros just pushing now. I think Amaros is a bit scared of in the corners being really close, and scary stuff there on the back straight there. Well, not the back straight, start finish straight there. But yeah, it could just be a little bit of being in the corner.
I'm gonna tell you this: I smell death. I'm smelling it. Like I can smell death from a mile away. I'm smelling death from a mile away.
You got to give him the commentator's curse.
Here's the thing. Some people might say this is commentator's curse, but this is Daytona. We have to take it like this. This is the only time commentators actually have the poetic justice and the poetic license for you to say this not, the commentator's curse did not exist around the track. Very good comment from our chat. Hey, is this the Brazilian Undertaker? I did not expect a comment coming from like this in the middle of the race.
That is actually quite funny. The Undertaker. I'll use that more often when I commentate. But yeah, that's actually really funny. But I was gonna say car number 9 moving around. I did mention that. I was gonna say wow, look at that push on the back straight there. They dropped down now with Dean and Rago. No, they're still up there. They do not want to move at them at this point. But I was watching there on the back on the start finish. It looks like Dean's actually got that slight advantage coming across the line. Oh, wow, that was close. Leo on his own now.
Really close. Right now overtaking Amoroso, and you can see from his cockpit is that now the number 10 has a little bit of a momentum, as now Dean and Hago basically shut down the top, the bottom lane, merger down into the bottom side and leave Mora to that top lane. Now it's Amoroso following suit at number 30. He is now, but now everything's gonna get racy. 5 laps to go over here. Well, now these are the crunch laps. This is the laps that everybody want to move up and down in the field here, Connor, and that's where the big one usually happens. So here we go. Let's see if this is gonna happen. Even though you can see cars go side by side, contact. Amoroso push around. Mattel's push around.
We saw that wheel correction there in the opponent cam, and he's still trying to hold on to the thing, and there's more contact. Oh, the shake of the head. Not happy. Oh, no, there's the hand as well. Not happy at all. The funny thing is...
over here.
Contact. Huge contact there with, I think that was Leo. Yeah, that is Leo, the Canadian. Oh, there's more contact. Car 4 and the white car going across the grass. Deanie still trying to hang on to the car. And Rago's leading at the moment with Lesowski. Oh, I struggle with that name every time. My Australian accent just struggles with it.
Lesowski is better.
Still struggle. But Rago at the moment just... I struggle. I don't know. I swear it's my Australian accent. I cannot pronounce some of these names.
I'll tell you this much.
Apologies.
I've had other commentators struggle with easier names in this. So you're all fine. It's like the name in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese is like complicated. We say Lisowski, but it's not easy. As they open up lap number 23, they're both close to one another. It is insane how this lap just transpired. We got one crash in turn number 1. We got one crash in the backstretch. We got one crash on turn number 3. Decided, oh, okay, we're going to race this like to the final lap. Come on, there's still 3 more laps to go.
Yeah, 3 laps to go. Apologies, I thought I heard someone knock at my door there, so I had to go and check. But yeah, at the moment, Rago is just, I'd say he's clenching at the moment in lap 23. Oh, lap traffic, here we go. This will make it interesting. So, Connor Healy on the back here, so he's just going to stay there. Oh, bit of movement. We saw that little bit of movement moving up. He was like, no, I'm not going to make it easy. Rago's going to drop down straight away and keep that bottom line. He's going to be, oh, that's very smart of Rago there, dropping down, and he's going to get this draft train. So car 16's just going to be pushing him, and look at this. So car 6, which is Lesowski, there we go, kind of got it there. He's going to have to drop into this train here. And Rago is just going to be on the back straight, in the lead. Lesowski on the top with car 6, and he somehow on the outside is getting that slipstream on the side draft, and he's going to stay around the outside. He's going to get a run as well, so we'll see this side by side. I'd say for this last white flag, it's going to go up, and just watching that incident in the bottom right as well. Eyes everywhere on the screen. But ladies and gentlemen, strapping for the last lap of AMX Heat 2. Or AMX 1 Heat 2. 6 going wide there, and he's going to have to tuck back in.
Now it's going to be a really good battle between Lesowski. Lesowski already grabbing that top lane. Here he comes. He's going to use the side drive, slingshotting himself into Rago's quarter panel side by side. They go into turn number 3. You can even see Gayoso having a little bit of a moment. They make contact. Number 6 is spun around halfway across, but it somehow, some way keeps it on the track. But nevertheless, Facundo Rago is going to be your E2 here winner here at AMX 1.
Rago just taking it home there, and he looks pretty happy. And yeah, That was an interesting one there with car 18. Just giving him that tiny little bit of contact there, and yeah, it looked like Lugowski just lost all momentum, and that was it for him. So Heat 2 is wrapped up, and that was a really good race. It was awesome.
It was awesome. I think at a certain... William Dini just taking a little bit of the Daytona bump into turn number 1, just taking the different lanes. It's kind of like the Chevrolet, finding different roads or find new roads. And I love the fact they're taking their, brand or their manufacturer into, its literal slogan. I admire that. They got to get a paycheck from Chevrolet. As you're going to get your results over here for AMX 1 Heat 2, Connor, as your BenQ session winner is going to be Facundo Hago in first place, Rodrigo Lizowski in second, Pedro Dean in third, William Dini is going to be in fourth. The other half of the Dean brothers, Vinny Dean, is going to be in fifth. Mateus Machado, after the collision with Victor Amoroso, he's going to be in sixth place. Lautaro Gayoso is going to be in seventh after helping Facundo Rago and retaining the lead from Connor Healy in 8th place. Leo Mora and Victor Amoroso are your other 2 drivers in this top 10 as, well, you said it, like,
yeah. So we just had Alonso just drop out of there for the microphone, but here we go. See if the microphone's working there. I'll be back, mate.
I think so.
Yeah, there we go. It is working now. That was an awesome race. That was good to watch.
That was good to watch. I love Daytona. I love what it brings. It's always a good race. It's always an exciting race, and I thought Heat 2 was gonna be more calm, maybe until lap 22, 23, when everything was gonna become what it was, but not break down like it did on lap 20. Then after that, it just became a head-to-head race. Like we also had the head-to-head race between Machado and Vinicius Dean, but other than that, as it delivers. I like when they drive around plate racing. It always delivers something.
Yeah, it always does. Like, I think it's Daytona in general. We always see that it just delivers, like the 24, the 500, and just any official league racing. It just always delivers. It does not matter whatever car you put on Daytona, delivers and makes the commentary just excellent. Really, it makes it easy for us.
Absolutely, and to make it everything better is the fact that they provide us good racing when we have the Beanie Gang over here commentating.
I didn't even think of that. I'll take my beanie off, but I've got hat hair at the moment, so I'm going to keep it on. But but yeah, no, I didn't even realize. But yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome to watch, and it was great to commentate with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And before we wrap up this broadcast and then prepare yourselves for AMX 10, do you want to give a quick preview of what we're going to see with the Cup cars going around Magny-Cours?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, might as well. So before we go on this little break, I'll give you this preview of the next race, which stick around, we'll have about a 20-minute break. But it's Porsche Cups, which is the 992 at Magny-Cours. Probably, like we said before, it's probably one of the best racetracks, in my opinion, in the world, but in France as well. But yeah, we're going there and with the Porsche 992, so stick around, guys. But yeah, we'll pretty much wrap it up there with Alonso being an awesome commentator.
Yes, thank you so much. And well, I'm going to step off. I'll leave Connor over here, Kevin Garcia. Oh, he was a spotter. Now he's going to become a commentator. So he's going to jump into the broadcast booth and take you through AMX 10, which will happen in a little bit. Stay right here at AMX Global. We'll be back shortly.
to save our home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to AMX 10 GT3 Cup cars at Magny-Cours. What a time to be alive. Probably the best combo in my opinion. Yeah, but it's standard. It's probably the best time to be alive. So, hello guys. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are alive again, and it's a bit of a combo and a new commentator on board tonight. Kevin, hello.
Hello, it's great to be here, guys. I know you might recognize me being in some of the AMX1 NASCAR races. I've been on the highlight reel. That might be a good or bad thing, just depending on who you ask. But regardless, it's been fun. It's been great to be here. And now to be here on the broadcast side of it, up in the booth.
Yeah, it's great to have you on board. Obviously, I more than anything, new to me, so I probably should have said that. But great to have you on board. Let's get through a little bit of housekeeping, then we can get into a bit of qualifying. So we're going to go through the housekeeping. Basically what I mean by that is basically we're going to talk about what's going on in the series and basically what's happening. So we started in Jan 27th to April 21st. And yeah, we're not halfway yet, but we're getting close to it. Prize pool for this season is $20,000 and a next level gear. And our race format is 20 minutes qualifier, top 10 reverse grid, then 20 minute first heat, then top 15 reverse grid, then a heat 2. And for the league overview for season 4, drivers must have a cam so we can see your beautiful faces on the cameras. And then the other thing is a payout balance, over $100 payout each month. And we race on a Tuesday, Saturday, and a Sunday. So if you guys can't race on a Sunday, Saturday, come join us for the Tuesday. And our schedule as well, for you guys, this will be great for you guys. So we run off a GMT. So for our AMX 1 races is a 5:50 p.m. start for Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then our AMX 10 starts at 7:20 p.m. across Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. So that's our schedule. Our prize pool for AMX 10, I know a lot of people would be very interested about this, and so was I when I first joined. And basically it is, if you come home in first place, you get $30, second place, $20, $18, and it goes down the list. You guys can see it on screen, have a look for yourselves. And basically for qualifying and heat 1 and 2, that is basically the same across the board. And the minimum rating for drivers is $2,000, and total per race, guys, listen to this, $500, guys, for each race for AMX 10. Very exciting stuff. AMX 10 raising the bar every time, guys. Come and join us at amxracing.com. And there's our top 12, sorry. I read the 10, then I saw the 12, so apologies. Top 12, that's our list at the moment. And Gala Valero on top with 629 jewelry dues with 2 wins. Kieran Harrison with 4 wins and 11 races. Aaron Vasquez with 9 races with 11 wins. And there's the rest of the top 12 there. And we'll move on to our another thing with the housekeeping here. Gala Valero in P2 and the GT Elite cockpit we're giving away for this season. Moved on to that too quickly, but Aaron Vasquez on top at the moment with 242 points with the cockpit giveaway we're going to be giving away. He's been doing really well, very consistent driver. We've seen him all season do really well, and I'd say he's just an overall fast guy. And Gala Valero in second, we've seen him do really well in this season. And here's our promotion for this season. So basically, purchase entry, fees $3 3 days before the race and get 30% off in all AMX races, season 4 races. And we've got a season tickets. So basically, you can get a season pass almost. So amxrace.com will have a season entry tickets available for purchase. These tickets are all for each class of 6. Will provide 50% off to all races and purchase class. Apologies for the stutters. But that's the rundown for tonight, guys, for the housekeeping. And here's the track info, which I'll bring it to Kevin, our awesome little commentator. Take it away, Kev.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Connor. And today, yes, like you had mentioned, we're going to be in the GT3 Porsche Cup cars at Magny-Cours. I apologize if I butcher that with my accent. I know some people call it Magny-Cours, but is Magny-Cours. Yep. My French is not the best. Country of origin, it is in France, opened in 1960, and the length is 4.41 kilometers.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, honestly, with American accent and an Aussie accent, I'd say we're off a little bit, but Magny-Cours, there's a lot of little sayings you can say with most tracks, but moving on to the car, Kev.
Awesome. And today we are in the Porsche 911 992 Cup car, the GT3 Cup car with 510 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, weighs about 1260 kilograms, and of course running in with the sequential gearbox. And I've not yet raced this car in iRacing yet, but it's definitely on my list of cars to get into. I see so many series, so many people just absolutely dominating, good close racing, and we should have a lot of close racing today.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have some really good racing here. The track is very good for close racing, so we'll see a lot of that today. And moving on to qualifying next. But yes, awesome there with Kev. The track and car info. Moving on board now. We see a car off on the left, but riding on board now. And yeah, Magny-Cours, what an awesome track. It's one of these tracks where it's a driver's track. It's not much of a learner's track. It's all about being controlling the track. It's not controlling the car. It's all about the track, I find, around here. A lot of curbs, a lot of bumps, a lot of hairpins, but a lot of everything. Running aboard here with the red line driver. Kevin, you can take this away, mate, and talk away.
Awesome, yeah. It's been great to see over the last few weeks, and even just the last couple seasons, getting to really be on board with these red line drivers. I mean, you know, especially it's very close competition. I know we have quite a few esports drivers. We'll have to see today if we have anyone else that's coming in from real life. We really make some great competition when we see some of those real life drivers in here competing with some of these top esports drivers. And now we're switching over to Gael Valero, who is pretty high on the standings, and I know he's definitely been one of the fan favorites this week. This season, of course. And today you can see there in the SDK gaming car, the number 33.
Yeah, like I said, Gael Valero, he's been very strong. We saw him in the GT3s at a lot of tracks, and he's been a high performer. And Porsche Cup, he's been pretty good as well. So that's his strong car. But in the Porsche Cup tonight, as we've already mentioned, and if I have a guess, and I'm right, Aaron Vasquez in the Drago car, he's been very, very strong. He's been coughing up my lungs there apparently. But he took a week off there for a bit. When I mean a week, Saturday and Sunday. He had a couple of days off, but good to see him back. Age 16, Aaron Vasquez, Drago Racing, as we've already mentioned. What a young age. I wish I was 16 again. But riding aboard with him now, starting his lap there, taking a nice wide entry, and now heading into turn 1. But yeah, he's been very impressive, obviously with Next Level Racing, where he is sitting in P1 at the moment. And doing really well there.
Yeah, Connor. Of course, and that too, of being only 16 years old, this guy has such a bright future ahead of him. Not only in sim racing, but I wouldn't doubt it if we do see him making it into real life here pretty soon. You know, a couple weeks back, we seen some good battles. Max Verstappen had joined in the lobby, and Aaron Vasquez ended up taking the overall win for that. And like I said, so when we get to see that, especially, you know, having a Formula One World Time Champion, that has to be one of the best feelings, to be able to come out on top in a race. And again, like you mentioned, we have a couple red line drivers coming in here too, that Aaron Vasquez really showing what he can do. And here we have the ride along with him on the number 44 car.
Yeah,
really
I mean, we've seen a lot of...
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, dude. So yeah, we've seen a lot of real life drivers actually switch over. We've seen James Baldwin swap over. We've seen quite a new driver that I saw in Formula 3 recently being actually sponsored by iRacing. So there's a lot of real life, you know, sim drivers actually going into real life. You know, it's quite interesting to see that transition. I've seen in Australia that it's been a bit of a common thing now. Like there's people like Damon Woods that swapped a little bit. He does Formula Ford now. So there's a lot of movement around sim racing at the moment. There's been a lot of popularity in these last couple of years, and the boom. You know, a lot of companies and teams have looked at sim drivers and went, these guys are really skilled. Maybe we should throw them in a real life car. And they throw them in a real life car and they go, wow, they're actually highly competitive. So that's why a lot of people have been taking a lot seriously in this last couple of years. It's been good to see. A man that takes it very seriously and a very serious team, Gallo Valero. We've already talked about him, but he's in Apex Sim Racing. We've seen that team, and I'm sure Kev can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so now run on board with Gallo Valero. Currently in the number 7 spot, but I don't expect him to stay there for too long. Like we said, we're only about 15 minutes into this 20-minute qualifying. And here we go, and switching over to Dino Filippa, who he's been very consistent this season as well, sitting in the number 4 spot, the Argentinian, with a 138.57 so far. So he's getting pretty close to the top. The top, you know, so far right now are only about a couple tenths off of each other. So just really close qualifying. He's coming out. All right. Looking so good through the chicane there. Had a little triple in those bumps. Really nice. And all right, slowing down. I think he's happy with that. And came in at 138.54.
Yeah, Dino doing really well there, getting in up in P3. We've seen a lot of competitors in AMX actually move up the ranks like really quickly in this last season. A lot more people getting up the charts a lot more now. Like Dino, we've seen him being very competitive in last season, but like he's taken it to another level. We've seen him in those top 3s in qualifying. We've seen him in, you know, those top 5s like very, very, very regularly. So it's good to see. He's been doing really well in AMX. Obviously, he's a 9K driver. I'm not saying he's slow at all, so don't take offense at all. But he is, you know, doing really well in AMX. So yeah, good to see him at P3 at the moment. And a man that we see a lot, I'm sure Kev recognises his name, Zambolini. He is a regular when it comes to AMX. He is always there in every race, and he's been doing really well. Up in the P7 at the moment. A race that I recognise him recently, he's been doing really well. The GTPs, when Max Verstappen came into our race the other week at Daytona, he was doing really well, very competitive. We saw him in the top 3. Here's a little bit of information about Fabio Zambolini, Duckhawk Racing, age 46. And yeah, he's been doing really well. So yeah, good to see Zambolini always coming back each week, being very competitive in the 327 and in the Porsche Cup. So we saw him in the last time in the Porsche Cup at Spa, I think it was. Yeah, back when we did that round, and that feels like a lifetime ago. You know, it's such a long time ago, but yeah, good to see him back in the car.
Yes, Connor,
so, Kev,
I see someone in chat. Saint Fabulous Fabio. But yeah, we love Fabio. And just to go with that too, of it mentioned of the driver profile. Hey, he's 46 years old, but don't let that discourage you. I know whether you're young or old, sometimes people say, hey, are you still good? But he's proving right here that he is still up there with the best of the best in these AMX races.
Well, you laugh about age, or not laugh about age, but Kev, there's actually this is quite funny. There's a league in Australia, which I think a lot of people will be quite interested about that. So a V8 supercar, obviously in Australia, is very popular, and there's actually a league. You've got to be over 40 years old to actually be in this league. And there's like 3 different splits. So, you see a lot of 40-year-olds getting around now doing a lot of sim racing. And it's really good to see that age bracket really being extended. We see a lot of guys like Aaron Vasquez, who's 16 years old, 15-year-old, 15-year-olds racing. But there's a lot of older people getting into it. And you see these guys still being really competitive. So it's really good to see. Running on board, though, changing his background. Wow, the background looks awesome. Jackson Resende, we've seen him being a regular and being competitive, but look at that background, Kev. How good's that?
Oh yeah, that is. I love watching these driver cams. Like you said, just to be able to see their reaction, see the focus, and you can really see as he comes to a stop right here on the side of the road. Okay, and it looks like we're switching back over to Felipe. And here we go, back into the final 1 minute of qualifying. So now this is the last chance for some of these drivers to really try to get in, squeeze out a few tenths, squeeze out a few hundreds even. And it looks like we're getting a pretty good run so far. Back over to the number 4 car of there's Team Redline driver, who's currently in 4th place. And all right. Well, Connor, do you have anyone in this race? I mean, I know it is anyone's race. Anything can happen. I know we've seen with this past Tuesday in the TCR cars, we had some really close racing. We had a little bit of bumping back and forth. So I know there's a bit of heat going on, a bit of emotions. So let's see what ends up happening here as we end up closing on last couple seconds. That is our qualifying. Back to you, Connor.
Yeah, well, awesome qualifying, man. A couple of predictions. We've obviously got our regulars like Aaron Vasquez, who has topped the timing charts as usual, but just there with June being right behind, only 400s. Then right behind him, Dean Felipe right behind, only being 500s. Then Florin, apologies for that name, being 600s behind. Then Jackson Resende, Carlo Valero, Fabio Zambolini, Simon Dumont, then Gaston being right behind. We've seen him about a second and a half. Tim Stay, we talked to him last week, getting a bit of insights off the interviews. Loved him in the interview. What a sweet guy. So good to see him back there improving as usual. So 2 seconds behind. Heat 1 though, and we're going to line up on the grid, which is a standing start and an invert. So it looks like everyone will be inverted this time around. Obviously only having 10 cars in the field now. So everyone will be inverted. So this should be a good race to watch. And standing start, Kev. So any experience with the standing starts?
Oh yeah, much better than some of the rolling starts. Standing start, really just trying to time that without jumping. And let's see, do we have all 10 drivers on the line? Does looks like, and there's Tim, one of our VR drivers. I know we mention it all the time here, but just seeing more and more people to VR. I've even thought about it myself of, hey, not having those triple monitors, just really easy to be able to just, hey, look to your left, look to your right, see how close you are, especially at these higher levels of racing. Things get really close, door-to-door, bumper. But it looks like we have our drivers gridded up right now, waiting for the green light. Here we go.
And here we go. Green. Heat 1, AMX 10. We're going to go green at Magny-Cours, and a great start by Tim. And look at the background there. Jackson Resende and Zambolini there getting a bit of movement. Oh, a bit of movement in the background as well. We can actually see Gaston there in P2 there getting a good start. Tim State getting a nice little gap there already. So he's going to be covered down to turn 3. We've got Valero in the background there, making a bit of a movement in the background there. Vasquez there as well. Will he send a big dive bomb? It looks like. Look at that. I think that's Jackson getting a huge move up the inside. Tim State's been turned.
Oh no,
Valero
and
around as well. Bit of movement there, Kev.
Really unfortunate for Gael Valero. Now ending up back to P10. But that is close racing, lap 1 racing in these cars. It's bound to happen.
Jackson Rosendo getting a move done into P1. Getting a good move there. Committing under the brakes, and Jackson Rosendo being our aggressive driver as he always is going to take the lead. And going up through the first chicane, or not the first chicane, the ziggity-zaggity, I call it with my team, up through it. Oh, up the inside with Simon Demore. He's got the move done. Does he commit the whole way? Yes, he does, and he's gotten it done side by side up to the second last corner. And it looks like the red line driver, which is Flawn. I apologise if I'm getting that completely wrong, but he's a movement right on the back there with the red line driver moving nice and well there up into the lead, 3 spots up, and Felipe doing well. And it looks like we've got an incident there with the start there, bottom right there.
Yeah, and it looks like we just had a bit of a braking, bit of the wheels lock up on the braking, and that just caused one person to go into another, the domino effect. And unfortunately, we had the 3 guys there at the back trying to make it back up. But it looks like, again, we're back on board with Lefebvre. Again, also apologies, red line driver here, looking to make a move on the outside. Can he do it? And it looks like, oh, door to door, not quite. He's going back in, fighting for that with Simon Demore. And you're back on the straightaway, looking hard on the brakes, and all right, falling back in line. There we go. And you can see right here on the opponent cam as well. Oh, looking to make a move again.
Simon.
Looks like a little damage on the back of Demore's car.
Yeah, Demore getting the pass done there with the red line driver on the outside. He's going to have a look. Does he commit, though? That's the big question. Gaston is going to be on the outside. Look at the move! He's up the inside, bit of contact. Does he get turned by Gaston? No, he doesn't. The red line driver's going to stay up the inside, and he's going to stay there. He's going to stick it. Yes, he does. Look at that Gaston on the outside now. He's trying to find every bit of grip out there. There's not much out there, but there's just enough to keep there. I think that's Felipe. Yes, it is. Felipe up the inside, gets the move done. And look at this, Vasquez goes up the inside as well, so he's going to get absolutely... looks like Gaston just gets absolutely crunched there. So he's been absolutely murdered there. But he'll be a little bit annoyed there, but he's going to have to build back up there. But yeah, good moves by everyone there. Nice and clean racing.
Yeah, and Vasquez really taking that aggressive line in there and coming out on top. You know, these are the close ones that, hey, you take it a little bit too hard, and then that's going to have to be looking to stewards, you know, seeing some of these guys go off track. Luckily, there was, these guys are just so good that, you know, not causing too many incidents. Back on with Lefebvre, the red line driver now in he's in place 3. 3rd place right now, going back up to Simon Demore in 2nd. Looks like we have that battle for 2nd still. Right now, they have about a couple second gap between the leader, going through the chicane. Very, very close indeed, right in the bumper of it, and he's taking a look. He's going for the inside, and oh, can he have it? No, almost so close. But here we go, almost going 3 wide right here. Okay, on the bumper. We're coming out of it. Let's see who's going to come out of this on top. We have the red line driver in 2nd, Simon Demore in 3rd, and he falls back in line. Man, that was a good run.
That was an awesome one. Simon is going to go up the inside again. No, backs out of it. Thinks better of it. He thought about it though. He committed there for like a pinch there, like a nice little bit there, but he backed out of it. And the red line driver who did the Daytona 24 recently, so he's been doing really well in all the stuff that he's been driving. And I've seen a lot of red line drivers competing in AMX recently, so they've been very competitive, as they always is. Always are. Oh, it's Dembellini though in the background having a bit of a wobble out of the final chicane with those curves. You have to fly it over. Oh, good move there by the Apex driver, which is Galo Valero. Always doing some really nice moves. We've always seen him in the league doing really well. And Vasquez here We've always seen him moving up really quickly, but he's had a bit of a slower approach, which we've been more of acquaintance to him being very aggressive, but he's doing it nice and carefully. He's on the outside trying to find grip. There is a little bit of grip there in that corner with the curb, and it looks like Felipe gets a really nice drive out there. So maybe with that little bit of understeer there, Felipe could just get that drive there and put the power down. Vasquez does go up the inside. No, Simon Demore in front of this little pack here with the red line driver absolutely flying up the road, and Jackson Resende just gone.
Yes, and we're staying on board right here with Aaron Vasquez. Still, the battle for third, fourth, and fifth position, man. These guys just running one behind another. Really close racing. And let's see, is he going to make the move right here? He peaks a little bit. Doesn't quite have the line to go on the outside. But let's see, they're catching up back here on the straight. See if they get just a little bit of the draft right behind each other. And it's going to come down to, let's see who breaks hard, who breaks late. And they're keeping it pretty safe. Going on the outside. All right. Through the chicane, hitting those apexes, a little bit bumpy. And here they come down to the home stretch. And as we're going now into lap number 6, man, these guys, they are just not giving it up. This is the type of racing you love to see it in real life. You love to see it here in AMX.
Oh, it's so great to see. You know, we see that last chicane. The cars. Felipe trying to get around Simon Demore, but he doesn't get it done. But look at this. Aaron Vasquez on the outside getting a run. Oh, contact down the back straight. Simon Demore is going to go straight into him. Aaron Vasquez backs out of it. Felipe on the inside and gets the advantage out of that whole situation. He's went, see ya, boys. See you later. I'm going to take that. I don't... Felipe, actually. Yeah, Felipe. I hope I said Felipe. I thought it said Simon there. But yeah, Felipe getting a huge advantage there. And he's going to take the win. And P3 now running on board here with Jackson Resende. Just absolutely gone. About a 2-second lead there. So Jackson Resende there just... he might have this sealed up if the red line driver is going to see if he'll gain on him at all. But opponent Cam's here, and Aaron Vasquez here doing a good approach here, trying to get a good exit here. We saw him slowing up a little bit, trying to get that run onto the back straight here. And he can't really pass down in this last chicane unless he really commits. Felipe up on the inside, really trying to cover here. Vasquez trying to make something out of that, but he can't. And Vasquez is going to try and do a move up to turn 1. Kev?
Oh, yeah, and you can just see, again, looking for that outside line, and I'm sure we're going to see so many people battling that out, coming into that final corner right before we hit the chicanes. And back to, again, Aaron Vasquez right here on the bumper of Felipe. Oh, a little bit of into the grass right there, cutting a little close. And that, too, these drivers... they're not waiting for there to be an open line. These guys are putting the nose anywhere they can to try and force those really close corners. Especially, that's the great thing about this track. And here he goes on the outside. Oh, a little bit wobbly. Oh, on the inside with the brake lockup. It's going to take advantage. Oh, and Kulavi takes advantage of that. Up to P3, passing both Felipe and Vasquez. You're not going to be happy about that one.
Yeah, Gaston, we saw this before with Aaron Vasquez moving around on the straight, trying to give him that little bump so he can take advantage, but it just doesn't look like it works out because of Felipe locked up. Aaron couldn't go anywhere. He just had to sit there and just go, okay, now I've just got to sit on the outside. So now you see Gaston just taking that huge opportunity there like we saw there before with that other incident. So yeah, a bit of an interesting one there. We saw that happen once. And see if Vasquez learns from the second time now. And it looks like Gaston's going to be back up in the P3 now. And here's the little replay, and we can see that little bump there. Let's see who moves around a little. Oh, Felipe actually just moving left. It looked like Vasquez didn't really go anywhere. So my apologies there, Vasquez. And it looks like, yeah, Felipe's just locked up. And Vasquez has actually went under him. So he's still got the move done. So Vasquez still being happy about that one. And have a look at this. Felipe up the inside of Gaston. Gaston backs out of it a little bit so he doesn't lose too much time. Looks like, I think that's Felipe there with the Moser gear there. I think that's their newer wheel. Gaston on the inside trying to find a little bit of grip there. You don't really get too much grip on the inside there. You've got to move to the outside to find more grip. And it looks like the BWT car trying to bump draft. Do they make it 3 wide? They don't. Vasquez really late on the brakes there. Trying moving under the brakes. Ooh, cheeky. And Vasquez gets good drive out of the corner. Good job by him. Kev.
Yes, and you can see that one turn, man, that is just catching up all these drivers. We've seen a few wheel locks, we've seen a little bit of wheel spin, tire smoke almost every lap. And here we go back to Kalavi. He's looking to make a move on Aaron Vasquez. And these two, man, I'm just waiting to see how close of a race we're going to have towards the final. Again, we're back on lap 7 of 12, so a little bit more than halfway through with this race. I think he's here on the bumper cam. This really gives us a great perspective of that sense of speed, that sense of how close these guys are to each other's rear bumper. Come here a little bit through the little bit of S turn. All right, back on board with Guile Valero, who right now is sitting in P8. You know, we had that incident early on, and that just shifted the whole running order from what we were early on. But he's sitting right there in the back, about half a second off of Zamperlini, who we have seen fell back, came up, started falling back again. And now, again, this is really still anyone's race. We do have a bit of a gap up front, but we have these few drivers right here just giving such a good one. Now going into lap 8, turn 1, and we see just the concentration from Guile Valero. You can just tell this man is just absolutely in his zone, just looking just so comfortable in these Porsche Cup cars today.
Yeah, he looks really comfortable with the car. It was a bit unfortunate with that little bit of contact. I can't really wind the memory back that far, but yeah, he had that little bit of contact there and put him in the back of the pack. Meanwhile, Simon Demora, we've seen him being really quick recently, and we saw him in the GTPs being really quick, and then GT3s. He said he wasn't really on the pace, but he was still loving it out there. But yeah, the GTPs he really fits, so... Oh, does he go up the inside there? No, he doesn't. Backs out of it a little bit. Does he try and get the run onto the straight? It actually looks like Gaston's locked up, and Simon Demore is going to go up the inside. He's going to be on the outside, which is not really fun, but he's going to have the inside for the next corner. And it looks like Gaston's backed out of it just that tiny little bit, so you don't lose too much time. Because the plan of racing, you don't want to lose too much time. You don't really want to lose a heap of time, then really get affected by it. So, Gaston up the inside. Simon Demora needs to go on the outside a little bit and not really, he's going to compromise the exit. And a bit unfortunate there. Simon Demora, it just rolls off the tongue, I feel like, with his first name and last name there. Simon, though, getting a good launch and getting away from it, though. Meanwhile, up the front, Jackson Resende.
Yeah, Connor. So now we're back on board with our leader, Resende, who is now fighting off the Team Redline Racer. We had seen he had pulled a little bit of a gap earlier on in the race, but now, as the driver behind him in the number 4 car is closing that gap down to just a couple of tenths, just going to be fighting. He's looking for that line on the outside. He's going to brake lane get into it. Now he's going to play it a little bit safe. Like I said, we've been seeing quite a few people lock up on that turn. Right on the rear bumper, spots it back in. You can see here, battle for first, the timing on the right-hand side, just giving a good idea of how close these drivers really are driving to each other. They have a little bit of a gap behind them between third place, but these guys are not worried about that right now. They're just worried about who's going to make a mistake first, who's going to try to dive in, keep that first place. They only got about a little bit less than 4 laps to go here. And these guys just holding their lines, keeping it straight. So are we going to see Resende, you know, feel the pressure? Or are we going to really just see him just smooth, be as fast as he can to make sure that he cannot... Oh, on the inside, all right. He's starting to get a little bit of a run. Back to the outside. Here we go. Now these next few turns, this is really where we've been seeing a lot of drivers keep it close. Having that look right on the bumper. Man, these guys are just nailing that line, that racing line. Neither of them going too far off. Now, back in the lap 10, we can see there in the back, 3rd and 4th place. Also going to be battling that a little bit. But, Connor, this has been a great race so far. And like I said, just the shift, we had that unfortunate thing. In the bottom right hand, you can see that battle for 6th place as well going on. It's been battle pretty much this whole entire time between the middle of the pack. Amazing drivers.
Yeah, it's been a good battle. We just saw Dino Felipe just get the fastest lap, so I feel like someone would see the timing. Oh, Flora trying to go up the inside there. He tries to get it done there, but he just peaks, bumps Jackson Rosende there, so Jackson can't really get a lot of grip. So the thing about racing, if you bump someone a little bit, you lose a bit of traction. Then the guy behind you can just drive on the exit that little bit better. And it looks like Jackson Rosende hasn't locked up, but he just looked like he actually might have just locked that front left that tiny little bit. And the Porsche Cup car, and you can see that Jackson not really happy with that. You see his face kind of, that was a bit working on it next time. But if he just stays in the slipstream, he can keep on the back of Flora here with the red line driver doing really well here. And obviously with the red line driver, it comes with Max Verstappen's name all over it. And obviously with Max Verstappen just winning the Bahrain Grand Prix and winning by 22 seconds, which is ridiculous at this point. Like, like when you win by that much, do you almost go like, I'm just driving around at this point? But well done to Max Verstappen, obviously winning the race, and obviously he's been running around in AMX and supporting the league as well, so appreciate Max always winning. We always love it. So and we're going to ride on board with Gaston here, and he's got Zambolini behind him, so Zambolini catching up right onto the back of Gaston here, and Gaston taking an awesome line down into turn 2 now, trying to run it wide and cut back to the apex here, and runs it nice and runs it wide as well. So look at that line he's got there and the drive he's got as well. Simon Demore just getting a nice little lead on these guys from this pack. He's got about 8/10 on him. So if he can try and pull that little bit, he's out of the slipstream. Gal Valero trying to get a dive bomb on Zambolini, gets it done on the Duck Hawk Racing driver there, and it looks like he's going to get it done, but no, he doesn't. Zambolini coming back for the drive on the exit, and Zambolini gets it done. Gallo Valero backing out of it just that tiny little bit, Kev.
Yeah, Connor, getting some good runs again. Oh, and here we see a little bit of lockup. That Zambolini now taking the lead. Oh, sorry, Gallo Valero, and again, some of these drivers mixed up. Okay, we're on board right now. Gallo Valero, Zambolini was able to really get in front of those guys after we've seen a little bit of lockup, but again, now we're still that battle for 6th place. Oh, and coming up on the inside, we're gonna have a close turn, and who's gonna come out of it? All right, looks like Gallo Valero still holding that place right behind Zambolini, but he has Blainat just right on his tail, only 2/10 of a second off of him. Right now, getting to the slipstream on the fast corner. You can see a little bit of grass on the track, and they're holding that line pretty good. Let's go into the next little S corner, hitting those bumps into the home stretch. And we have white flag out right now. So this is going to be the final lap. Let's see what moves happen. This is where it's all on the line. Back to you, Connor.
Yeah. Thanks, Kev. So we're on the final lap now, and we've got Gallo Valero holding off June here, and we see actually Jackson Rosende only 4/10 behind the red line driver. So Flora having to defend that tiny little bit, and so there's a good battle up the front. But meanwhile, riding on board with these guys, June, we're riding on board with now. Oh, pulls it up just on the back of Gallo Valero now, and Gallo just getting some really good exits there. They're not going to catch Zambolini there, but they're going to try. We're going to move up to these guys. They've finished at 60% of the track now. We've got Dina Felipe in the background there in P3, and it looks like Flora's going to take it pretty easily with 9/10 on Jackson Rosende. The only thing that could go wrong right now is a lockup, bit of understeer. He could lose a little bit time with the understeer, but a lockup would be detrimental to this driver at the moment. But it looks like he's 6 places up, and he's going to take this win. We got the battle down in P6, which we were talking about before. That's actually a really good battle with Gallo Valero doing really well there. Good recovery drive there in P7 at the moment. Zambolini up in front of these guys. Do they try and get the run? Flores going to take the win in Heat 1. AMX 10, and you can see there on his face, pretty happy with that. Jackson Rosende always been up in front. Jackson, and then Gallo Valero jumping over those curves and going to cover, and there's that little battle there wrapped up. And Tim State just about to come across the line in a couple of seconds. We'll see that last driver just come across. Awesome race though, Kev.
Yeah, that was some really close racing. Of course, we've seen that battle for P6 going on nearly the entire time, that mid of the pack. And of course, that Team Redline doing really good out here today. Came from further back on the pack all the way up into first place. We had a couple of incidences that first lap that really shuffled things up. But overall, I mean, really just shows these guys that they're able to even take the bad, the locking up, everything, get right back onto it, get focused, and start climbing their way back up towards the top of the leaderboards. And speaking of leaderboards, back to you, Connor.
Oh, take it away, mate. I'm enjoying sitting here.
All right. Awesome. So another one on your winner for the Heat 1 in first place. We got Florian A. Lebigre. I apologize, as we have. Second place, Jackson Resende. Third, Dino Filippa. Fourth, Aaron Vasquez. Fifth place, Simon Demori. Fabio Zamperlini coming in at 6th, followed by Gael Valero in 7th. Number 8, we got Juan Blenat. 9th place, Gaston Kulavi. And in 10th place, we got Tim State with the fastest lap coming from Dino Filippa. And of course, we are going back into another reverse grid. So we will see Tim State coming up on that pole position, starting for heat number 2.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're green. And look at that. Flora getting a great launch in that red line car. And it looks like Tim State not having the best launch. Already in the P2 and P3, P4, Oh, he's dropped back a little bit. Oh, I think that's Jackson Resende there, just losing all grip of his car on the back end there. Aaron Vasquez right in front of Flora at the moment. And this should be a good battle between Aaron Vasquez and Flora. We've seen those two teams battle a lot in the esports world. So let's see these guys battle out. And moving up to the front, we can see here, June up the front. Oh, look at that. Tim State hitting the P1. Huge crash.
Yes, like you're saying, Tim State just taking it a little bit too hard on the inside, locking up, and just causing a little bit of a crash to that big pile up back there. But now you see some of the leaders are going to take advantage of this to kind of pull away from that. Let's see, now we got Aaron Vasquez leading with Zamperlini very close by in second. We're riding along with the number 4 car. It's Team Redline car, and we see, another one off track. It looks like we got Simon Demori. We're going to have to see a replay after to see what happened there.
Yeah, we'll probably get a replay of that from Florian getting a good launch there. He's taken another position and another victim of his absolute ability there. So Florian getting a good launch. And then we're back up to Zamperlini, and look at this. The two Brazilians there in second and third, and look who's on top. Hey? Always getting up the front. Aaron Vasquez doing really well there, getting into P1. We saw him in that mid-pack and got around. I wonder if he got any damage, because we saw Florian get a little bit of damage. So it'll be a choose. And we're going to go to a full-screen BenQ replay here. So we'll cut across there now. So let's see what happens. I remember Tim State locking up, but I feel like there's a bigger story to this. So there's Gael Valero there. Straight into car 89, and that is, June there getting absolutely just pummeled. And look at the red line driving. Florian actually getting absolutely turned there in the car number 4 there, and I didn't actually keep my eyes on Aaron Vasquez there, Kev, but if you did, he probably just drove around.
That one, it looked like he just got to sneak away. Yeah, that was Aaron Vasquez really was able to take advantage. I know there's going to be a lot of, like I said, a lot of emotions going on about that wreck there. But now back onto your leader riding on board, Aaron Vasquez, leading by a good lead. He has nearly over a second and a half in front of Zamperlini. But we do see Zamperlini close behind and Resende right behind him. So again, the Spaniard followed by the 2 Brazilians. And let's just see, we've seen this season, anytime that Aaron Vasquez is able to get up front and really just outside of that slipstream of the other drivers, he's really able to take advantage of that. You know, he has been qualifying top of the leaderboards every single time. Really fast driver. And now we're going back to the battle for third place between the Fraber and Resende. Coming into that little corkscrew and down on the front stretch.
Yeah, Florin, we're driving on board at the moment in P4. He's doing really well here to recover from that little spin there at the hairpin. Surprisingly, with a little bit of a turn, he somehow hasn't lost a heap of time here. Car number 4 doing really well here with Florin. And right in front of him, he's got the 2 Brazilians. So this shall be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown about Jackson Resende. He is a very aggressive driver, and if he's in front of you, good luck getting around him. He's a driver that will give you about 3 mils worth of room, and that's it. And we'd love to watch him. A lot of commentators love watching him and commentating him. And it's going to be good to see this another battle. We saw Florin and Jackson Resende have that battle in Heat 1, but obviously with Jackson Resende having that tiny little bit of a front left lock, we didn't even see smoke. It was actually probably just he's probably hit the brake and the caliper's probably just been really cold, and he's probably just locked up the tiniest little bit and let go of the brake, and he's just had to run straight a little bit. So Florin right on the back now. Zambolini obviously being a teammate to Jackson Resende as well, so Florin will probably not want to lose any time so Aaron Vasquez can just pull away with ease. So this will be interesting with these guys. Florin here having a lot of experience. We saw him, like I said, in the Daytona 24, pushing along Max Verstappen. We saw him pushing along Max Verstappen in the 24 hours of Daytona. So I wonder if he'll push him down into turn 1, and I reckon this will be the move that he's going to do. Oh, netcode!
Oh!
Huge netcode.
And right there,
Jackson
like you're
Resende
saying, man, that looked like they were getting really close to that. And just, again, netcode, unfortunately, sometimes just have some of these drivers driving in different time zones. The server it got really close. Unfortunately, it ended up with the spin, and he's back towards the back of the pack now. But we're back on board, running along Dino Filippo. Can he come and make a move back on the number 4 of Florence?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he can get a move done. I was going to say, with Dino Filippo getting that fastest lap time in Heat 1, he's going to have a lot of pace into that car. Obviously been a fixed setup as well, ladies and gentlemen, so there is no little cheeky little setups from Drago Racing, Redline, Duckhawk Racing. It's all fixed setups, so everyone's on the same base. Everyone just needs to figure out how can they make the car go quick, basically. That's all they need to figure out. So it basically just comes down to driver, nothing else. And by the way, Dino Filippo just having a little bit of front life damage there, so I'd say that's drastically not making the car fast down a straight line. So he's going to try and use Florin there in the front there, uses a bit of slipstream, and he's onto Zambolini already, so he's doing really well there. Look at those curbs, by the way, Kev, just absolutely killing the car over there.
This is just absolutely rocking those cars all over the place. But we see now the battle for second place. Aaron Vasquez has pulled a little bit away, running about 3 seconds ahead of second place. But here we see Zambolini and Florin going to be fighting for that second place. I know, like you were saying earlier, of just the Team Redline, they're really aggressive drivers. There is a reason that, Max Verstappen and these guys are all on the same esports team. So we're dropping back down, looking down to number 5. But looks like we will be getting a replay here very soon of that netcode incident. Oh, sorry about that. I guess we'll have to look about that a little bit later. But here we are side by side. And, man, here's a close race, and this is what we love to see. And Florence, he comes out of that side by side. Here we go into the left-hand turn. Zambolini getting a good run right on the rear bumper of him. And just behind him, we have Dino Filippo as well, looking to take advantage of this battle going on for second place.
Yeah, this will probably be the battle until the end of the race, I'd say, just with Vasquez just pulling away. He's almost got 4.5 seconds on Florin, and we're gonna have a little quick replay and try and get back to the action as quickly as possible, because there's huge battles at the moment. But have a look at this, just a tiny little bit of netcode, and this is really unfortunate for Jackson Resende. It's just a bit of netcode, bit of iRacing, iffery, you could call it there. So riding on board with the red line driver there. I just saw they're actually sponsored by Bose. I'd love one of those headsets. But anyway, enough about my wishes and things. But anyway, so riding on board with Felipe here, he's got a little bit of damage like we mentioned before, so he might need a... Oh, he almost got that there. If he just committed on that throttle there, I reckon Felipe would have had him by turn 3. And have a look at this. What? Did Florin have a bit of an issue there? Okay.
Little bit of a bump right there as we see, from Dino Felipe, and let's see, going into the turn. But yeah, Connor, I'm not sure if he was having some issues there with his vehicle. I know these drivers been really close. Not sure if there's any damage going on. But that has changed the lead just a little bit. Not the lead, but your battle for second, third, fourth, fifth place. Oh, and to the inside. What? Oh no, we're gonna have to see it. Just going a little bit wide there from the red line driver. That's a little uncommon, little bit uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah. We might need to keep an eye on that red line driver there for a bit. Florin just having a couple of issues. I wonder if that's if we can throw up his driver cam, I wonder if there's a bit of wheelbase issues or pedal cam dramas maybe. So we're having some dramas with the red line driver there. Just that's very, for a red line driver, you don't really see mistakes. So I'm thinking it's either a technical issue or there's something wrong with the car having a little bit of damage. We did see him getting turned around. Oh, apologies. Gallo Valero, though, the man that just keeps coming out of nowhere and just, is into P4. So he's actually in the same spot that he was from the start of the race. So he's going to have quite a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? He's going to have to find some ways to get around Dino Felipe here, and then he's got the red line driver as well behind him. So like you said, we'll keep an eye on the red line driver, Kev, and we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, and coming in here, we're a little bit more than halfway done for the race. And as it stands, we have Aaron Vasquez still in first place with quite a bit of a lead. Second place, Zamperlini, followed by Felipe, who here, again, just really great battles going on. And I'm not sure who's going to really end up in that second, third place. Anything can happen. But we're seeing here Gallo Valero looking to make a move here, followed by the red line driver. But is he going to be able to make a move on Felipe or Zamperlini? We're just going to see. I think he might just be waiting for Zamperlini and Felipe to just really battle it out, look for an opportunistic move to make it on one of those sharp inside moves that we've been seeing all day long. And here we go. Into this tight corner. Is we going to have a battle? No. Everyone's wanting to play it a little bit safe here. But we're going now. Zamperlini still in second place. Right behind him, Dino Felipe, and you can see here on the bottom left hand the driver cams. Oh, and we have Felipe going in the inside. Who's going to come out on top? And Felipe going for that second place. Connor.
Yeah, Felipe doing a great move there. Zamperlini getting stuck on the outside and couldn't really do much. And Gallo Valero is going to take that opportunity to go up the inside for turn 1. He's going to get it done because he's got the grip and he's got the outside as well. So he's going to get a run. The red line driver of Florin just on the outside, trying to find some grip. He's going to try and do the under and over. Zamperlini's going to park it on the inside though. And Zamperlini is, you can feel the frustration there with just getting overtaken twice there in, in 2 to 3 corners. Florin though, he's going to be on the outside trying to get around him. He's going to have some bit of grip on the outside, trying to bump Zamperlini. Zamperlini though, he's going to do an absolute great move there, park it on the inside and then get some great traction on the outside there. And Florin there just trying to get around him here. You can't really overtake him besides this corner right here. Does he go up the inside? Yes, he does. Look at that, up the inside and locks up.
Major contact right there. And we see, unfortunately, Zamperlini right now falling back a little bit behind. And just like he said, and he retakes it. All right, I'm sure that looks like some good sportsmanship. If that was intentional, not got a little out of control, but Zamperlini able to get that place back.
Yeah, you can see the smile from Zamperlini. You can, in sim racing, I think there's a level of trust and there's a level of respect. And you could see there, Zamperlini's trusting him to go up the inside, and Florin's just locked that wheel just a tiny little bit, and that was it basically. So Florin just upsetting the car a little bit, having that lock up, and Zamolini getting pushed out of the way there on accident. You know, no one means to do it. And look at this, Jackson Rosende getting a spot back. Simon Demore, though, just getting overtaken there by Jackson Rosende. But Rosende getting parked in the dirt and somehow gaining all that time back. So maybe Jackson's driving a little bit angry at the moment. And Rosende doing really well here. And Simon Demore is just going to try and stick on the back here. I think Simon might have a little bit of damage, seeing that he's off just the tiniest little bit of pace there.
Yes, and Rosende, that too. He's trying to claw his way back up, but still a good battle back there in P7 and P6. And we're going to look at a full screen replay here, our BenQ replay coming up of the incident that happened just before this. Let's get a good look what looks like happened. The Team Redline driver going on the inside and just slightly locked up his wheel.
Oh.
That just caused him just to go onto the outside of the number 327, and oof. That's just close racing, unfortunate, but like we said, you know, he was being a good sport, was able to let him have that position back, and that's just, you applaud guys for that, because he could have easily walked away, let the stewards decide it. But, you know, kudos to both drivers there for their composure and keeping this race very competitive.
Yeah, definitely. Like I was mentioning there, with the lockup there, it looked a little weird because I think it was just the brake bias just being that little bit too forward. So obviously in a race, you either up the bias or bring the bias back in a race. So you're trying to figure out what's the best way to get the car balanced and get the maximum grip out of the car most of the time. You're not really, in a car, when you're doing sim racing, you're just hitting the car all the time with the brake bias, traction control, or anything like that. I know in the GT3s I'm not as experienced, but in the Porsche Cup, I've got a teammate that is getting into the big Porsche Cup stuff. So I feel like I've got a bit of an idea, and obviously myself having a bit of background. So yeah, it's interesting to see the differences with a lot of cars. You adjust a lot of things to find that maximum grip. So it could have just been a little bit too much forward with the brake bias there. So unlucky there for the red line driver, Florin there. But good sportsmanship, like Kev was saying.
Yes, and back on following Valero, he's looking to take that P2 spot, only about half a second behind Dino Filippa. And they have a little bit of a gap behind them. You can see these two drivers just kind of driving away. Of course, Aaron Vasquez still in first place. So like we said earlier, you're right. We're going to be looking for that P2 battle for the rest of the race. And we have Gal Valero getting a pretty good run on there so far, coming to that DRS zone. Of course, these cars do not have the DRS, saved for the Formula cars. But closing that gap down a little bit to about half a second, and we'll just see if Dino Filippa can just keep this line going, keep his composure, and just not let the pressure get to him. It looks like he might just have that second place locked down. And going back down to fifth place, we have a couple different battles going on here. Of course, back there, Rosende and Demori. These guys been battling the last couple of laps, and we see leading it right now, Rosende in that sixth place. But can he hold on to it, Connor?
Well, that's the main question, isn't it, Kev? So, Jackson Rosende really being adapted to the car. We've seen him in so many cars. I've seen him in a TCR, GT3, like GT3. It's at this point, it's like, what can Jackson Rosende not drive at this point on the limit? So Jackson Rosende in the inside, just holding the line there, trying to not give Simon Demore any room there. And Simon Demore actually getting a good run there. He went under, trying to get that grip, but he just didn't get it. So Simon Demore having to slip back in. Does he go for this hairpin up here, though? Let's have a look. Bounces over the curbs, trying to not get the slow down up the inside. Simon trying to get it. Oh, I forgot to say Simon instead of Simon. So used to saying Simon over in Australia, but Simon trying to do the inside, but yeah, he does well there just to stick back in. And I've always wondered about this with Simon. He's got his steering wheel like really up, like a Formula One car. It's quite interesting. Jackson on the outside, Simon trying to get up the inside. Has a look. Demore though, he might get this done. He does. Jackson losing a bit of grip there. I think it's with that
spin he had there into the kitty litter. Kitty litter, what I mean by that is the dirt in the turn one.
So up in the kitty litter. So I'd say it's just a lot of just loss of grip, really, with that tyre, not really wanting to be on that car at the moment. And you can see there, Jackson Rosendo getting a good run out of the last corner there. And this is the battle for P4, Kev, so take it away, mate.
Yeah, right here back still battling for P4. We have Zamperlini and Florin. Like we said, we had that incident a little bit earlier. Zamperlini got his place back, and they've been battling it out ever since. Of course, we are with the white flag. We forgot to mention that we are on the final lap. So right now, we were about to see how aggressive are these drivers going to get. Oh, and we have Florin. Oh, off into the grass. Oh no, what happened there? Off into the grass, and that's going to give room for Resenge and Demori to be able to come back in, and the red line drivers jumping all the way back down to 7th place. Let's see if he's going to keep up right here. We got a bit of a side-by-side with Simon Demori and Zamperlini. Man, all right, who's going to take this one? And they keep swapping places, door to door. Let's see. Getting really close into this next turn.
Jackson
Who's going to
Rosendo
come
would
out
have
on
just
the
got to slow
inside?
down as well.
All
Sorry to
right.
cut you off there, Kev, but I think he would have just
no,
got to
you're-
slow down
that's
there,
okay.
just being up the inside. Yeah, sorry. But up the inside there, I think he might have got to slow down. I could be wrong, but on that curb on the inside, if you push the car a little bit too much, you will get to slow down. But race winner, Aaron Vasquez, we hasn't even looked at him, but he's pretty happy. The 16-year-old taking the win home, and yeah, it looks pretty happy. Typical Aaron Vasquez just going, oh yeah, another win under the belt. So yeah, Vasquez doing well there. Battle down to the last corner here. Up the inside, you got Resende. Oh, Florin taking the inside and taking position off Simon Demora. And look at that. Jackson Resende taking home P5. Florin P6 and Simon Demore in P7 and Gaston and June. And then Tim State back in the back there. So, and up the front we got Aaron Vasquez, Dino Felipe, Gal Valero, and Zambolini. I think I mentioned Zambolini, but I could be wrong. But yeah, that's the rest of it. And Tim State, I feel bad for Tim State because he locked up turn 2, lap 1, and that was it. He had heaps of damage on the front left, I just saw. And yeah, just unfortunate, but honestly, the drive of the night was probably Jackson Rosendo. He had that little bit of a turn there into turn 1 into the kitty litter, and that was it, and we thought, that could be it. But yeah, come home in P5, and Aaron Vasquez doing really well in Heat 2.
And another great race, of course, like we said, this track combination with the Porsche Cup cars, always a great combination. Then we have your session winner, Aaron Vasquez, who took this one away with ease after that first lap incident. Second place, Dino Filippa. Third place, Gaio Valero. Fourth, Zamperlini. Fifth place, Jackson Resende. Florian Livier, the red line driver, coming in sixth. Simon Demori, who had a great battle in those last couple laps, coming in seventh. Gaston Kulavi, eighth. Juan Blayna, ninth. And in 10th place, we have Tim State, the fellow countryman, with the fastest lap, of course, being the red line driver in this series. Sorry about that. Oh no, Blaynet with the fastest lap. My apologies.
Yeah, and we're going to come back to us as well. So, guys, you can see my ugly face again. But but yeah, awesome race, that one. AMX 10, it just never disappoints. I think I've said that last race, but yeah, it never disappoints. It always comes out with a bang. We always see, like, with your GT3s, Porsche Cup, it just doesn't disappoint. Kev, mate, it's the first time commentating. It's been an absolute pleasure. Who would be your highlight for a driver tonight, mate?
I mean, really, just that's always such a hard one. I mean, really early on, we've seen Aaron Vasquez qualified very well and prove that, hey, man, he's just fast on this track. Of course, that Heat 2 took that win by about over 6 seconds. I know he's always a fan favorite, but even Simon Demori, he's putting up some great battles out there. We had that battle for 6th place during Heat 1, that Zamperlini, Demori, just Florence, amazing drivers, amazing races. And this just goes to show, guys, at this level of competition, you don't always have to be focusing on just the P1, P2. We have these battles throughout the entire grid.
And
I think you've got a very good point there, talking about there's a lot of people that just and we we always talk about P1 and P2 and P3, but it's good to see those guys at the back, and in that mid pack. It's always good to watch, and there's always battles. And we're going to get into interviews, and we've got Florian first, so I'm going to talk to him and see what we can get out of the red line driver for today. And we're going to swap over to an interview. There we go. We've swapped over. Mate, what a race. You were up and down in the field all night tonight, but you came out on top in the Heat 1. But explain that whole race, man. It was great to watch.
It was a lot of fight. The second race was a bit more tricky. I made a mistake on, I think it was Fabio, so I let him the place. But it was really good fun. A lot of fights. So really enjoyed this race. I mean, these two races.
Yeah, I mean, AMX 10, like I said before, it never disappoints. It looks like you just had a bit of a netcode issue. Then it's just a couple of little errors there. But, mate, you were really quick on track. It was awesome to commentate. I hope you enjoyed the commentary back. And what was your favourite battle tonight?
That's a good question. I think the one with Dino, we fought a bit. Because Dino was really quick this race, as well as Aaron. So, I think the one with Dino. Got a bit of fight, yeah.
Yeah, it looked like in Heat 2 and Heat 1, we saw Vasquez not being really in Heat 1, but Heat 2, he was flying. I mean, his pace was really good, but, mate, yours was rapid as well, I wouldn't take it, I'd take it as a win with your pace, man.
Thank you.
Well, mate, can I think of any other questions? Not really, but, mate, who would you like to thank for this whole night, and all your sponsors, mate? Oh, and the family as well, if you want to.
I mean, thanks to AMX, obviously, for doing these races for everyone. I think that's really cool to have this type of championship, I'd say. And, thanks to Team Redline and all the sponsors that are sponsoring the team. Well done, man. And I'd like a Bose headset, by the way. I saw that on the car. It looks very good. But just joking around. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
But just joking around with you, man. But awesome night tonight. And we'll see you next time. But great interview, mate. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for the commentary.
Oh, all good. I hope you enjoy it. I did butcher your name a little bit, so enjoy that. I did work on it through the race, and hopefully I improved it in the end. But I appreciate you coming for an interview, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, so great interview. He ran a great race. Like I said, it's just good luck, Florian, on your next endeavors. But yeah, Connor, again, just those unfortunate incidences. I know that, I've gotten involved in a couple of those myself, even in the AMX one, I'm sure AMX 10, just having so much more on the line, you just really just makes for, makes for a good broadcast, but unfortunately, I'm sure a lot of the drivers would say different on being on the receiving end of some of these. We had a pretty bad netcode incident there as well. And that is just close racing in iRacing.
Yeah, it is, and unfortunately, there's a thing called the internet, and I feel like with sim racing, we always see with internet issues in a lot of video games, but obviously with iRacing, but in the simulator, you don't want that netcode, but obviously we just get it. I did an AMX race recently, and obviously I'm in Australia, and you verse people across the world in Europe and Asia and across the world, and sometimes you come up against your driver and you have about a netcode about this big, and you just think, I really didn't want that, and you end up making contact. But it's unfortunate, but yeah, it's still great racing to watch. And yeah, it was awesome from Florin and yeah, from the rest of the guys.
Yeah, and again, I know we've seen even chat going on too of just the sportsmanship that was just shown there. Hey, you lock up, you accidentally get into an incident with someone else, and just giving that position right back. We love to see that sort of stuff here. It's really just encouraging to everyone, to the viewers, to the racers, just to have that good sportsmanship going on.
Yeah, it's great to see. We'd love to see it more in the community. There have been some races I've been in, and I'm like, oh, that sucks that you didn't give me the spot back. But yeah, great to see the drivers in AMX really bringing the level of respect, the drivers, and of the level of drivers, but still having that respect. So yeah, it's really good to see. And I think we're pretty much all wrapped up for tonight. But yeah, we had Heat 1 in. We had Heat 1 in AMX 10 and Heat 2, awesome racing. And we got our results coming up in a short moment. But yeah, awesome racing. Heat 1, I think we had Florin win that first race. Then we had Heat 2 with Aaron Vasquez taking that awesome win there, which seriously, like 7 seconds, Kev, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, that just goes to show of like, you could see the work that these drivers are putting in. And just, I'm sure that had to feel good. You could see him smiling there at the end. And really, we'll see how many of these drivers come back. I know a lot of these drivers, you can see that are towards the top of the leaderboards are pretty much here hitting every single AMX 10 race. I know tomorrow we got the GTE class coming up. But here, let's go on to the results of this race coming up. And so we have right here your AMX 10 Race 15 winners. Go ahead, Connor. Take it away.
Oh, thank you, mate. So, Aaron Vasquez taking another win under his belt. We've seen him being very successful. Obviously, we're seeing him leading that championship for that next level racing rig at the moment. Aaron Vasquez taking $76 home. What a great little prize to bring home. And in P2, Dino Felipe taking $60 home. Florin taking $58, so only $2 behind. And then Jackson Resende, June Gallo Valero, $40. $38 for Zambolini. Simon Demore, $33. Tim State, $21. So Tim State doing really well there. So guys, even if you finish down the back, there's still some money you can bring home onto the table. There, Tim State in 9th. Gaston in P10 coming home with $17. It was good to see Gaston on track, by the way, too. It was he had some really good battles there. So it was really good to see that there as well. But yeah, Aaron Vasquez taking it home and another win on his belt. So doing really well there.
Yes, and there we go. Of course, you guys can see right now on the screen at the bottom. Make sure to follow AMX on all of our socials, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, the likes, and feel free to comment, involve. We'd love to see you guys. And of course, if you guys would love to get involved with AMX Racing, feel free to go over to amxrace.com and sign up. We always love having more drivers. We love growing this community. It's always a great time.
100%. I've experienced a couple of races now, and it's awesome fun. I've always got a smile on my face, besides when I lock a brake and hit someone. So apologies to anyone that I hit in the future. But but yeah, it's always good fun. Go and check us out, guys. I follow the socials. It's always great to watch the socials because everyone puts some clips up from the AMX stuff from your race. So you might be on a reel that one of the guys posts on AMX. In our socials. So guys, I think we're going to wrap that up. I think I'm running out of words at this point, but yeah, appreciate you, Kev, coming on board for this AMX 10 race. Did you enjoy it, mate? That's my main question.
Oh yeah, it was so great to be here, and especially I'm used to the AMX 1 races where we haven't had quite as much participation as the AMX 10. But we've still had some great times there. But obviously, getting away from behind the wheel, coming up here into the announcer's booth, I'm just so glad for you guys to have me on. Had a great time, great close racing, and I look forward to what the rest of the weekend brings and tomorrow's races. Yeah,
the tomorrow races should be very exciting, and yeah, if you're on board with that, man, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. And I think you guys will see me tomorrow, but I could be wrong. But yeah, have a good one, guys. Goodbye for now. I've been Connor Nixon, being your host with Kev on side. And yeah, it's been an awesome couple of hours. We've had AMX 1 with Daytona with Gen 4s. Then we've had the 992 Cup car at Magny-Cours. So we'll see you next time, guys. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.